Hey guys, how's it going? James here from plumberparts.co.uk. Today I'm going to be fitting this Impey beast. It's an absolutely fantastic piece of kit. I call it the Death Star. So we're going to start off with an area that looks like this, and then we're going to end up with an area that looks like this. Finished, I will be using this shower at the end of the video. Claudio, my tiler, is going to come in and do the tiling. I can do tiling myself, but I prefer a professional to come in and do it, so thanks Claudio. Also, you guys are going to get an exclusive view under the floorboards and under the shower as this brand new shower deck is installed and used. If you want to buy any of the tools that we use in this video, I'll leave a link to our Amazon shop as well. There'll be links to Impey's website and more information and more videos that they've made. There'll be special links for you guys right at the end. And remember as well to subscribe to this channel. You're going to learn loads in this video and we're going to have a bit of fun along the way as well. So let's get on with it. They give you a pre-formed floor where there's already a drop. So your tiler can come in and they can tile to that form, and then that will give it a proper drop, and it also has the integrated, really cool trap as well. So what I want to show you is a step-by-step guide as to how to get one of these installed successfully, all the way up to the point where I'm actually using it, getting in it and showering. Something that I know a lot of you love. So then guys, the first thing we want to do, mark out where we're actually going to install our Impey. Now the thing about these that's really good, this is why I call it the Death Star. Have a look. So this can sit in here and spin round. Now the great thing about this and the great idea that they've come up with here is that means if we've got a joist in the way anywhere, we can spin this round to miss that joist. It means we don't have to cut massive chunks out of the joist and then get problems with like building control when it comes to structural regs and things like that. The other great thing is you can drill them anywhere. So if you haven't got any drill holes yet because you're missing a joist or something like that, you can drill them in and get them all in. The other thing as well is if we have a look at the underside, anything that has this kind of crosshatch area around here can be cut with a handsaw. So, you know, if you've got a 4-inch stack in the corner that you need to get round, you'll be able to cut that out. It will not affect the strength, as long as the only bits you cut out are inside these crosshatch bits here. So really simple. First, we just want to score a line around here, exactly around where we want our shower to go, and then we can lift this up and take it out of the way. Another thing I love about it, really easy to carry around because of this bit. Wicked. And now I'm going to use the appropriate tools and the appropriate PPE to get this cut out safely. A little tip when you're doing this, if you've already got a little bit of the floorboard up already, or you know the exact depth of the floorboard, marry up a ruler or the floorboard bit you've got itself next to the blade of your floorboard cutter, and then set the depth accordingly as close as you possibly can. You want to avoid nicking any pipes or wires that you don't know are under the floor. Also, if you've got any harder bits to get to or access, I highly recommend a small multi-tool like the one I'm using here. So then guys, we've got a really good spacing of joists here at 400mm centres, so that's great where it is. That one might be in the way of our trap, but we're going to use the Death Star soon to get rid of that problem. That one's okay, but I really do want one at the end there. So what I'm going to do is just build that bit out a bit as well with some more 7x2. Guys, there's nothing wrong as well if you think you've got a bit of a dodgy floor or you're worried, you know, stuff might move. This is the time to address that issue, okay? You need to make sure that whatever you're fixing this really good product to is safe. You don't want to be fixing a good product to something that's not so good, otherwise you're going to get problems. So I'm going to slot this little bit down here to make sure that I get a much better hold in a minute. I'm also going to put a couple of just trimmers in here as well. The more stability we have at this point, the better. Make sure when you're reinforcing that you pay particular attention to the edges. It doesn't hurt to get a spirit level on the joists themselves, because if they're level, you know that the tray when you lay it down will be level as well. The end product that we're looking for is for the top of the tray to be level with the top of the existing floorboard. So now's the time to find out that the two level up, and if they don't, to take remedial action now, often using a very thin sheet of plywood to lay in there to make sure that the levels come up and down to where you need them to be. So then everyone, this is still all part of the preparation. We just want to make sure now that we've got good levels here, that's great there, and that we've got good levels here that aren't being put out by any dust. Have a good clear up if you can, that's really good there as well, got some decent levels there. Just make sure you've got those levels exactly right how you want them. Brilliant. So once we're there, what I'd usually do now is quickly just pull up, or if you've got a pencil, just mark where your joists are. We know we've got one here. So, but if you really want to, get yourself a spizzy level, mark your joints along there, because we're going to be drilling these in a minute. As many on here as we can get. You cannot put enough screws on. So now that we've done all our preparation, we know that our tray's level and everything like that, we can move on to the next stage, fixing down. What I would suggest you do, if you really want to go belt and braces with this, is run a big fat bead of mastic or a big fat bead of grip fill, or your preferred kind of big fatty glue, a high calorific content glue, to go on top of these joists here, and then screw it down. The one thing you're going to want to go and get to help you out is to get some countersunk little pilot hole drill bits. You'll be able to find a set just like this on our Amazon shop, the links are below. So what you can do is, we've got obviously our line here where we know that we can do drilling. So I can get this on here, do that in there like so. Little countersink there just to get that in, and then whack in. Oh man, that is beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So that's what you need to do. If you have the right tools, suddenly this job becomes really, really easy. So look, let's get this beast all screwed down. As you can see, I've already marked down where all my joists are. I'm going to screw the absolute hell out of this. So let's get on with it. If you are going to use an impactor like I am now, make sure you know the tool that you're using and go easy. Impact drivers, by their nature, can sometimes damage the surfaces you're trying to screw down. Now that we've got this fixed down, literally it's not moving anywhere. I'd highly recommend you get your spirit level out one more time and just make sure that everything's level, make sure that you've got everything how you want it to be. All these outside edges should be completely level because our drop is pre-formed. So now what we want to do is, as you can see, we've got this right in the way here, and this is when the Death Star, as I call it, comes in really handy. Now the good thing about the Death Star is you can put this and spin it round to a position to move and miss that piece, and then you can alter your pipework to go with it. But also it has the added benefit as well of you being able to centralise the gully so it goes well with the tile cuts. So for example, I think Claudio is going to be using 600s on this. So look, I can get this central on here, or I can get it so it's a bit out on there, and try and just get it so I've got it roughly where I want it to be. If you find it helps, use a pencil to mark the centre of the tray, and then measure the centre of the Death Star itself, use a pencil mark there, and then marry the two up. You'll know then that you've got the centre. So now that I've got this roughly where I know it's going to be, I can then think about getting my trap assembly made up. And the great thing as well is that I know that I can test my trap so the water runs away and gets that all done. So the next part of this job is getting the trap arrangement in and getting the Death Star fixed down. This next bit is most effective if we just mock up where we want it to go. Now, as you can see, we've got this down here. Now, our waste pipe has got enough movement, enough wobble in it for us to be able to put a little 45 in here and then come over to where we are. But let me just demonstrate something to you. I just want to demonstrate the versatility of this unit. You know, it can go like that. Our waste can literally go round in any different way. This can go down around in any different way. And also, if we go back down here, you can see that can go round in any different way. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to pop a little 45 on here and get this popped in. Follow the instructions provided to properly build your trap up in the way that we've got it built up here. Another perk is the trap glues straight onto your solvent well pipe, so you don't need to buy any compression fittings or anything like that. A little tip for doing this bit is mock up everything dry, then put it all together. If it all fits nicely together, mark each joint so when you come to glue them together, they're all glued in the same position. At this point, it's a good idea to grab a glass of water, pour it down the trap to make sure you've got the full. It's a good tip to whip the Death Star up and hoover out all the grooves and make sure they're clean, and then you should be ready to put the Death Star down. So then guys, now that we've got that there like so, that can fit up like that. But before we want to go on any further with that, let's make sure that we've got these lined up. Very simple job, piloting out these. Oh my God, that is not going anywhere, guys. Woohoo! Then we're just going to pop this in here and just make sure that our centre is bang on. There we go, absolutely bang on, that's brilliant. The positions for the holes on the inner insert are a little bit further out, so you need to be doubly careful if you're going to use an impact driver or a drill on this bit. And if you're not happy using either of those tools, I just highly recommend using a simple hand screwdriver. The central screw, however, that brings the trap up onto the bottom of the shower deck and seals the rubber seal up and makes everything watertight, has to be done up with a hand screwdriver. Do not use a drill for this screw. It can't hurt to pour a little bit more water down just to make sure that you've got that full. Then pop the black protection cap provided over the top. You're also going to need this soon when we cut out our tanking membrane. Guys, if we go down the back of the studio, and this is the great thing about the studio, something that we'd never be able to do if we were installing this in someone's home, we can now go underneath and have a look at the install of this beast from the underside, which no one else will ever be able to show you on an install video. And we're going to be able to do that as well when it's tiled and fully running. And now for a moment of reflection that you must take at this point. We call it the hoovering interval. But seriously guys, make sure now that the whole area that you're working on is completely clear of dust. This will be the first of 3 or 4 times that I hoover this area before we actually put our Impey WaterGuard tanking membrane down. Here I use a cement backing board, it's about 6mm thick, to go up on the walls. This is a really good way of making sure that you've got a nice straight wall for your tiler to go on. After that, just to help the tiler out a bit more, I often go around scraping off all the little nodules left by my screws and also doing yet another hoover. Also, an Impey don't have to do this, but in this particular WaterGuard kit, you also get a pre-mixed primer solution so you can prime the wall and the floors ready for the WaterGuard membrane and tiling. So guys, we've got our hardy backer up, we've primed it, we've primed the floor area. So let's have a look what's in one of these boxes. So make sure that you get the right kit when you're doing this. I've got the wall kit here, which means we've got 500mm of primer. We've also got 10 meters of jointing tape, and also we've got butyl sealant. Impey also sell kits that will have pre-formed corners and also external corners as well. So make sure that when you go on their website, you buy the right kit. Just make sure that everything's like completely dust free and also dry. Make sure that your primer's gone off and everything. Don't prime the tray itself, guys, because it's not porous obviously, and it will take literally hours to dry. So number one, let's start with the corner profile and the corner parts of the shower. Right then, so there's an act to everything. So this is how this is going to sit in here. The best way to do this is to actually peel off the bottom part of this corner, just like that, and then just pin that back with your finger, and then just make sure just one last time that there's nothing there that's going to impinge this properly gluing down. Now you can pop that into the corner now with your finger there and just pop that back like that. Then that is now down, and then it's a matter of just pulling this back and then every so often just rubbing that out. Smoothing this out a little bit, then pulling this back a little bit more, smoothing this out a little bit more, pulling this back and smoothing it out. Just like so, look at that. Don't worry about these little bits, guys, here. They look on the camera like they might be holes, but they're not. If we start in the corner here, you see that? We're not sticking this to anything else at the moment. Just getting started in the corner, and then we just push that back like so. Push that back there like that. You don't have to be too harsh with it, and just smooth this out. There we go, just smooth that out. Can take a bit of stretch in the corner, so you can just keep that pushed in, or use like a tile float or something like that, just to get you nicely into that corner there. Now guys, I think the best way of doing the next bit is to actually measure out the piece that you want to get in here, run this back into the corner, like so, and then actually cut it off at exactly the right length that I want it, just down here. You want to start in the middle on the bottom piece. Put my hand under here one more time, peel back a bit. It is like everything this is, it does take a little bit of practice. Just like so, there you go. Then we're just pulling that out. Always try and start from the corner and then go backwards. So once you've got it started, see what I mean, how easy it is to do now? We are at that stage, we can just push that down, just like that, make sure that's right back as far as possible. So then, as a rule of thumb, lay out the profile with both protective covers on, start in the middle, and then tease out the protective profile while rubbing down as you go along. This goes for all the wall and upright profiles, and is the same method that I'd use throughout. Don't get me wrong guys, there's no getting around it. This is a fiddly part of the job, and it is going to take a little bit of practice for you to get used to the methods needed. Once you finish this stage, you should have something looking a little bit like this. Right then, so now we've got our corner profiles in. The fun bit, we get to put the WaterGuard down. There's one little thing we've got to do first. So we come in from the side where our WaterGuard is by about 5 to 10 mil, just in case if we get it out square a little bit, we've got a little bit of pull so we can get it around. This stuff can be kind of stretchy. Tuck it out here by about 5 to 10 mil. Get a pencil, just mark that there, like so. And then just take that out. So we've got that mark all the way down here. The reason being is because we want to joint this bit along here. The main point to take from this bit, guys, is that everywhere we have a joint, we want this to be underneath it. And then that means you've got a fully tanked wet room or bathroom. What I like to do is just roll a little bit out. So, number one, make sure that our little black cover is there, because in a minute we're going to use that to cut round here and then dress this down into that gap ready for our tiler. Number two, before we do anything as well, let's have one last quick hoover. So the first thing we want to do is actually just pull this out and cut off the amount that we need. And then it is very, very similar in operation as to what we did earlier. Just a little bit back like so. Now this stuff is so thick, good sort of 1 or 2 mil thick of butyl. I know I get really silly about this sort of thing, but it's just nice to use something that's good, you know. Right, so now we can roll this over to where we're going to put it. Remember what I said, keep it in a few mil just from the edge. So in the same way that we did our wall profiles, remove a small bit of the protective backing and then stick that down, and then just remove about 1 inch's worth of backing at a time and then smooth that down. This will prevent the formation of bubbles underneath the WaterGuard. Also, you might think that we've got a problem going down into the dip of the shower deck. Well, this isn't a problem at all, because WaterGuard is slightly stretchy. You just push it down there. Once it's stuck down, it'll be absolutely fine. Now you should be able to feel round. Especially if you've got dirty hands, look, you can feel round where we need to cut to get this dressed. See that there? Now just run that into here. Now, using your fingers, lightly push down the WaterGuard into the tapered tray, ready for clamping in a minute. Once you've got that nicely pushed down and glued in, you're going to want to screw the top clamp piece on. Now, remember what I said earlier on, do not use an impact driver for any of these stages. Use a hand screwdriver, that's the perfect tool for this particular job. Now pop in the rest of the trap assembly, then lay in your height adjustments and top grille, ready for measuring in the next stage for the height of the tiles. For that bit, I'm going to introduce you to my tiler, Claudio. Claudio's here. Claudio, say hi to everyone at plumberparts.
Good afternoon, good morning.
Good afternoon.
Just getting on a bit.
Right then, so these are the tiles that we're going to be putting in today. It gives me a couple of seconds just to talk to you about how we set up the height for this beast when we're doing our tiling. So here's how you do it. We can adjust the height using this, so up to 20 mil, all the way down to 90 mil. That down on there. This part of the job comes down to basic measuring, and a good little tip that I learned is to lay your tile on top of your lowest ring with the numbers on it, and then twist the ring up to account for the amount of adhesive that you anticipate your tiler using. Obviously, ask your tiler what adhesive bed he's going to be putting down. It's handy to know that the numbers on the ring equate to the millimeters up or down in adjustment. Once you've come to an agreement about how much adhesive you want, use a black marker pen to mark on the inside and outside rings so you know that they marry up. Then when you lay the remaining components of the grill assembly in there, you should notice that the grill has already accounted for the depth of the tile. This method usually works pretty well for me, but every installation is different, guys, so make sure you use a ruler and measure at least 4 or 5 times before you move on to the gluing stage. Now we pull out all the components that we've just marked up and use a standard solvent weld glue to glue all the contact points together on the components. Make sure once you've got all the glue in that you use a finger or a cloth to wipe around the inside, so when you actually put the grill on at the end of the job, there there isn't any problems with contact or it isn't out of level. And that's it guys, our Impey shower deck is now fully tanked, ready to go in. We've got the waste on and everything, and we're ready for Claudio to do his bit. Just a few notes on the tiling of the Impey shower deck. Claudio thought he could get the drop here without doing any cuts, and I thought that looked absolutely fine, but a lot of guys as well like to do diagonal cuts. Everyone has their own preference of doing this. If you're working at a customer's and you think you can pull off either way, it's probably a good idea to give them the option, because they're the ones who are going to have to live with it. I left Claudio tiling away like a mad thing, and as is normal on any job, popped back about 2 days later to see what he'd done. I was really happy with the job he'd done, and once I'd installed this lovely Impey shower screen, it really set it off. Also, I thought I'd take the time out to give you guys an idea of what a wet room looks like in an actual room situation. It was nice to do because a lot of people say to me that they're always going to get their toilet roll wet, and I thought, well, put a shower screen up guys and you'll be fine. So after taking special care to install this fantastic product and mocking up this special room to make an almost real life bathroom, this is the end product. Guys, here we go. It's finished, it's installed. I can walk in here, I can stand in this shower. This is a fully working shower as well. I've also installed this amazing crystal screen as well. I think that looks absolutely amazing. You can see the feel of the room and what it's going to be like when you've installed and finished this. Really, really, really pleased with how this job has gone. I do love the tile running onto the oak floor. Very nice indeed. Guys, I've just had so much fun making this video. It's been great. When it comes to tiling, everyone has different ways of tiling wet rooms. A lot of guys you're gonna see doing diagonals, and I kind of prefer doing the diagonals actually, but Claudio said, look, I think with the way you've installed it, we can do a normal floor without making cuts, and you can show your audience as well that you can install wet rooms without having diagonal tile cuts, because some clients I've had in the past don't like that, especially if you're cutting off the nick of a corner of a tile. They can just get a little bit funny about it. If you want to see the studio build, that'll be on my other channel, Times of James. Please guys, if you get a second, scroll down, click on the link below to Impey's website. They do lots and lots of hands-on training all around the country, so if you actually want to get your hands on this stuff in a training environment with the professionals, you'll be able to do that. So click on the link below and find out all about that. Thanks very much for watching this video. I've had a wicked time making it for you. Please hit that subscribe button. We've got hundreds of YouTube videos all about plumbing. We upload very regularly, so please do that. And just like and comment below as well. I've put a lot of effort into this video. Let us know what you think of it. Let us know what you think of the product, and I'll see you in next week's video. Remember, if there's one thing you've got to do, it's hold tight. See you soon. Guys, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, is he going to install all that fantastic shower, that beautiful shower tray, and all those tiles, and we're not even going to see his beautiful body? Oh my God, guys, well, of course you are. And after extreme complaints from the last video I did when I got in a shower, there's obviously a lot of people who are very jealous about my fantastic torso and my rock hard pecs. I'm now just going to have to dress up in what I usually go to the beach in. So when I click my fingers, I'll be in my usual beach garb. There we go, beautiful, looking good. Got my taco cat top on, palindrome. Look at that, not a drip. It's an absolutely brilliant system. It works so well. I'm so pleased with how this system works. I literally can't recommend it enough. If you're looking for a solution, a wet room solution, upstairs, on a wooden floor, this is definitely the one for you. It's an absolute beast. I have to get back in this shower because I'm freezing. It's seriously cold. Oh man, I'm freezing my nuts. Oh, that's bad. Oh. That's one hell of a shower. think you're charming, baby, you're crazy. Got links to click, this ain't all about Impey. The one to subscribe should catch your eye first. Take a look around my store of bear gums and merch. Peruse my vlog channel, Times with James, there's more. There's also links down to my Amazon store. Yeah, hold tight, baby, see you next week. Yeah.